Well, Chris, you mentioned to me after the match on Saturday that the players were very disappointed with the result. How have they reacted in training this week?
Yeah, as you'd expect, they've reacted well. We've just been discussing it, haven't we, how hot it's been this week. So we've got to sort of taper training and make sure we look after the players. But we've worked them hard again, no doubt about that. I think we reflected on it on Monday, and it was definitely more frustration on the Monday about the fact that we should have capitalised on that sort of massive pressure towards the middle to the end of the second half. But Tuesday, then it's gone. You're focusing on the next opposition, which is obviously Wrexham.
And are there any sort of updates on the injury front? I know Sam Perry sort of limped off, didn't he, during the second half? Is he back in training and all okay?
Yes, there's still a couple that we're monitoring, but we had a good number this morning training. Still looking at a couple of players, so there's probably a decision to make today on whether one or two players train tomorrow with a view to the weekend. But as I say, there's still enough chomping at the bit to be in the team.
And as you said, up next, Wrexham. And speaking about the heat, it looks like it's going to be another hot one on Saturday. You said you were going to make changes sort of tactically as well, but are you going to have to manage their bodies on that day as well?
Well, no doubt about it. It's the same for both teams, isn't it? It's going to be ridiculously hot for fans, players, officials, for sure. When we look at what we've got, it's a case of, in the end, we will have to rotate, but we've got to give these players the chance to get that consistency of playing together, because that's what footballers do like. They like that consistency. They like to get to know each other and understand each other's games. And we're still in that period. Good opposition, great game to play in for our players. There's no doubt about that. And we're hopeful that we have a good turnout, because our fans were incredible on Saturday. Nearly pulled that second goal in, and we need the same Saturday for sure.
As you said, very good opposition. They've got a lot of strength in depth, haven't they? I know you wanted to bring some more bodies in. Do you think you'll have anyone ready for Saturday?
Maybe. Still in discussions. Got a couple of players in the building at the moment that we're having a look at. So we're still hopeful of that, sure. But regardless of that situation, we've got enough players to focus on the game on Saturday. I think everybody knows that the spend, but it's not about that. Wrexham are a good side, coached well, and they've still got to produce the goods regardless of budget. So they've had a really disappointing end to last season, where they were very close, weren't they, to going up. And I still maintain that it's very difficult without having that extra automatic spot. Someone's going to miss out, and for Wrexham, I'm not sure what they got, 87 points or something incredible, and not go up. It's just shows you how competitive it is. But we're looking forward to it. Very good side we're playing, no doubt about it. Big squad, but we want these games. We want our fans to turn up, and we want our fans to be proud of the team, and that's my focus for the weekend.
Is it almost a perfect first home game for you in charge? Because, as you say, all the pressure is on Wrexham, but you've got the home crowd behind you.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, it's the pressure for Wrexham is. I'm sure they enjoy that pressure, because they are heavily backed. We know that it's been publicised so many times, but the players have got to carry that weight of responsibility. I've been at a club like that at Oxford, where everyone's expectant of the club to go up, and it was the second season we did it, and not the first through the playoffs. So, yeah, the pressure is on them every week because of the publicity, but it's also on us because we're at home and we want to put a good display on. We know we're the underdogs going into it. There's no doubt about that, and that's fine. We're fine to play that hand, but we've got to focus on ourselves. The lads have got to know their own jobs and responsibilities, and go and put a display on. Go and show people how much they want to play for the club. I keep reiterating that, but it's important, because if you do that, you stay in the team.
How much can the fans help in those situations? You just mentioned Scunthorpe there, a long old journey. It was on the TV and still more than 100 made the trip. They could make the difference, couldn't they?
Yeah, and I thank every one of them. It was, including my parents in that, who were there. They didn't have as long to travel, but yeah, they came to the game. So good to see my family. But yeah, I thank every one of the fans that travelled. It's so important, and the players said that in the changing rooms after the game. How appreciative they were of it, and we need that Saturday. We know we need that. And whenever I've been at Hewish, I think I've always seen that camaraderie and that sort of togetherness, good times and bad times. And I've always enjoyed being here, whether it be playing, coaching, and I want to do the same as a manager. So it'll be a very proud moment for me, for sure, being in the first home game. I'm looking forward to it.
And in this age of social media, the players are more than aware of the story of Wrexham. Do you have to kind of make sure that they're focused on their own game ahead of this match?
They know that you can't hide away from it, especially with BT's coverage, and obviously the owners being famous as they are in a different field. So everyone's well aware of it, but we've got to focus on us and the history of our club and what we could potentially achieve. And I think that's what I've come to the club for, and that's what I'm focused on. You know, we can't do it overnight, but we've got to believe we can do it, and that's what the players want to believe. Someone's got to do it, haven't they? Someone's got to get in the playoffs, and someone's going to get promoted. Yes, Wrexham have got a load of pressure on them for sure, and they have, no doubt about it, invested heavily. We're a different model, and we focus on our model, and we focus on our own players and what they can give us on a Saturday.
There's so much travelling, as I'm sure you're aware, being down in Yeovil. How excited are you to have 2 home games in a row?
Yeah, it does make a difference. It's something that the players have obviously been aware of. We've got to recover quickly, haven't we, with the heat of the weekend? It's going to be a case of being a real good professional and making sure you look after yourself on the Sunday and Monday, regardless of us being in the building. And the boys, you know, both clubs, all the clubs at the weekend will be doing this: ice baths, recoveries, electrolytes. You know, it's trying to be as professional as possible. We can't look too far ahead. I've got it in the back of my mind, of course, about Barnet, but we have to focus on this Saturday, and then immediately after the game, it's a case of refueling the players, because they're the ones that step over the white line, and then us giving the detail on the Sunday and Monday about Barnet. So quick turnaround, but I know as a pro footballer, that's what you want. You know, you can't wait till the next game. So that's what I want to say to the players on Saturday: get in the team, stay in the team, and look forward to the next game.
And just lastly from me, I'm sure you're aware that last season it was certainly the home form that let Yeovil down. Is that something you guys are really working on to try and get the 3 points at home?
Yeah, fans will play a big part. We want the fans behind us. We want the fans. You know, it's that catch-22, isn't it? What comes first? The players showing the teeth, as I call it, and really being front foot, and the fans get behind them, or is it the fans getting behind the team and the team raise themselves? I think it's a bit of both. But I know one thing for sure: we need everyone. We need everyone to get behind those players, because they're the ones that do it. They're the ones that step over the white line. We can help to a degree, and we can make changes and pick a team, but in the end, it's that heart and that desire and that willpower to go and put a performance on. So fans are absolutely vital on Saturday for sure.
Thank you, Chris, and good luck.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Morning, Chris. Do you think it would be a little bit unfair of me to say you seemed a little bit timid in the first half at Scunthorpe?
It wasn't intentional. I think maybe sometimes when you're setting up in a system in the first game, you might be 5 yards probably off where you've been asked to be. So I think that could be. But when you look at the first minute, when our left wing back is near the 6-yard box, in between the 18-yard and the 6-yard box, flashing a ball across, which we should anticipate and score, you go 1-0 up. I'd say that isn't timid. I'd say that's front foot, and that was the plan. Now, when they have possession, yeah, it was probably a little bit too over precautious. And I told the lads at half time, you know, why you sat back. We haven't asked you to do that. We're asking you to cut off a passing line in some instances and show one way, but the idea is to set a trap to be front foot. So yeah, I think there's an element of, if we started like we were most of the second half in the first half, it might have been a different game. But they have blown teams away by you being too expansive. So it's a balance. It's a balance. I think we've got to work from a protective base for sure, because there's some good players in this league. But looking at what we did second half, us being front foot probably gives us the most rewards, doesn't it?
Well, definitely. I mean, a hell of a difference in the second half, and you look like, and if that cross that Alec Fisher put across, I mean, I was just begging to be put in the net, wasn't it? Really?
Yeah,
so it was. Sorry, yeah.
We looked at the game and we had sort of around 26 final third situations, whether it be a free kick, corner, cross, final third entry. A lot of them were actual chances, but it just shows you that throughout the game there were chances created, and that gives the players a bit of confidence for sure.
Without giving away, obviously, all your plans for Saturday, a difficult task to stop Wrexham, do you feel?
Well, many teams will have thought that last season, and they were rightly so in thinking that, because they've got a lot of firepower, they've got a lot of lads, they've got league experience, and that's why they amassed the amount they did and went very close to automatic promotion. So without a shadow of a doubt, it's a tough game. But we, like every manager in this league, you look at what strengths the team have got and perhaps where you might be able to get success. So that's what we've been working on and will do tomorrow as well. Both sides of that. In the main, we know we're playing against a very good side who have invested heavily to try and get out this league. So we know what we're facing. What we need to do is focus on what we did well and try and replicate that as many times as we can.
Are you finding it hard to bring in experienced players with the right attitude?
It's a challenge, definitely. I think logistically it's a challenge, and financially, there's no getting away from that. But that's why I'm here. That's why I've got the bit between my teeth, and I'm on the phone all the time and working hard. I don't see it as a chore. I see it as a great challenge, and it's that challenge remains. But I'm not the only person in this position. That's for sure. There's many managers in this position, whether it be league managers in this league. We've had a little bit of success this week in some people we've spoken to, and as I say, I've got a couple of players in the building at the moment that have done well. So the situation could change, but if it doesn't, then the players in that squad and in that team are more than capable of getting a result, and they're more than capable of creating chances, which is what they showed most of the second half on Saturday.
Tell us about Matt Grivosti. I hope I pronounced his name right. What does he bring to the team?
Yeah,
Can
Matt
you hear
is,
me?
yeah. Matt is a live wire. He's wants to be aggressive, wants to be front foot. He's desperate to play games at this level. Still, obviously, getting used to his teammates and the way that we're playing. But he's, as I say, he's training really well, chomping at the bit. So he's obviously in contention, as a few boys are for Saturday.
This hot weather
Hey, do you want to try turning your camera off?
It's all very nice for us to sit in the garden and relax, but it's hard work. I should play football in this weather, isn't it?
Yeah, I missed that first bit. I missed the first bit. I got the second bit, AD, no problem. Oh yeah, it's unbelievable. Yeah. And I think we had to tailor training today. I mean, the lads have got towels out there, towels wet through, and they've got water and, electrolyte drinks. So we're trying to look after them. I mean, some of them to do more afterwards, and they're so careful in this weather, that's for sure. We're just not used to it, are we? In this country, we're not used to it, and especially 3 o'clock on the Saturday afternoon. I'm sure there'll be a couple of water breaks. We've got to make sure we take care of these boys, that's for sure. But they're fit lads, they're up for it, and they as I say, they're desperate to do well.
Well, good luck tomorrow, Chris. Hope you can bring back the 3 points. Well done.
Cheers, Andy. Thank you, mate.
Chris, just going back to Scunthorpe, obviously you didn't play as well as you'd probably hoped for the first half, maybe the first hour. But were you heartened by the fact that you only lost by 1 goal and you had enough chances really to get a point, maybe even win the game?
Yeah, I was disappointed. I've got to say, I want to win games and get results, and we should have done, no doubt about that. But as I say, there's a couple of moments in a game where sometimes just one player might get his position wrong and sit back, and suddenly it forms a pattern, and it's hard to change that until you get him at half time or until you can get detail on the pitch. I think that is what might have happened. But when you look at I keep hearing this, and I agree that first half wasn't as good as second half, but still first half, Jamie Record had a chance to score him with a header. Charlie Wakefield's flashed from wide when he probably should have hit the target. We should have scored from Jamie's cross shot where we should anticipate. So there's still chances in the game. It's just taking them. And then it becomes, imagine scoring in the first minute. Then it completely changes it. And we're playing against a good side. There's no doubt about it. You have to give them an element of respect, but there was too much there. So my overriding feeling is frustrating disappointment. But I've got to say, the lads, they gave everything. They really did, and I hope everyone could see that they were going until the absolute death in that game, and that's what they've got to do in every game. You see a couple of EFL results at the weekend, and you're seeing 90+2, 90+4, equaliser and winner. So we've got to try and stay in games, and that's why I was a bit disappointed with that second goal, because we're on the front foot, we're attacking, they score from a counter because we've vacated the middle of the pitch and we don't go and press. We know these things and we've talked about these things, but it's the boys delivering it on a match day, and unfortunately we just got that wrong. That's fine. It's a steep learning curve, but you can't have too many of them learning curves, not in this league. Because I think if it's 1-0, that goal, then it's just all us. But as it was, being a bit naive and empty in midfield and perhaps not tracking back quick enough, not pressing that ball, that cost us. And that means that 2-0 against a good side is tough. It could have gone either way. You can look at it and say, well, there's no pressure on then and you're playing or you can sometimes sink in those games and you can sometimes hide, and they didn't. The boys were getting on the ball. They were trying to stick to the game plan. And but for a bit more belief of a front post run or a better connection, and you score an equaliser or a winner. So lots to take from it. And we've been, as I say, we've been working again this week to try and put those things right and get that detail over, because everyone saw it. It's on TV, for goodness sake, so we all know. Try and put that right, and then try and sort of look at what we did do well in both shapes that we played.
This probably feels like a long time ago now, but we lost Tom Knowles a couple of days before the big kickoff.
Yeah.
To lose kind of one of your best attacking players and one of the longest serving players in the dressing room, did that cause any sort of disruption so close to the start of the season?
I think for any manager and any fans and supporters, and we all got a massive passion for the club. Yeah, I'm going to deny it. Of course, it's disappointing on a Thursday where you've suddenly essentially got to change a game plan and personnel with a limited amount of time. It's a challenge. It was a challenge for me, and I won't deny it. I wish Tom all the best, and he did well for the club, and he's a great lad. But we've now got to move on. Wasn't ideal for sure, but the player showed his intentions to go. We offered him as much as we could offer him for this football club at this present time. So that dealt with. And the club accepted the amount of money that they were offered. So all of them things fitted for him to leave to go to Walsall. But he goes with our best wishes. We want him to do well as a footballer because he's a great kid. But I can't think about that anymore, because you've got to quickly find another Tom Knowles. You've got to either create one from somewhere loan one from somewhere or sign from somewhere or get one from within. So big challenge, because he was a good player, wasn't he? We all know. And those players are hard to replace. So we've got to work our socks off to try and do that. And that's the process at the moment.
And sticking with the players that are here, who do you think impressed you the most out of the new players at the weekend?
I thought Sam Pearson was really bright when he came on. I thought Sam Perry was good in midfield. He worked hard. He got round the pitch. Fish and Mal were better second half. I think first half maybe a little bit too off it and not running somebody down. I always reference Ian Rush. He scored 350 goals, but what he did do, he'll run from full-back to centre-half to full-back. And why did he do that? Because it got him in the game. It got his second wind, as I call it. You can't wait for that game to come to you, in my opinion, as a centre-forward. You've got to go and attack it front foot. And if it means pressing from one end of the pitch to the other, every so often you do that. And I think that's something I've said to the boys. And defensively, in the main, a couple of things I'd like to have addressed, but training time on the pitch was limited last week for different reasons, which is frustrating, because those key details, those 0.5% things, come with being on the training pitch every day. And that's what we've got to sort of reiterate to the boys. Training gets you better for games, and plenty to learn from for first half for sure. But I think there was some really good performances, I've got to say.
And you touched on this earlier. Obviously, Yeovil are going to probably be the underdogs on Saturday, but actually the record against the bigger teams was pretty good last season. Is it something that you think you can kind of thrive upon and maybe surprise a few clubs throughout this season?
Yeah, I hope so. It's a good point, really good point. And I was here for the Stockport game, and I remember, I think from the day it was sort of sat back in 4-5-1, stopped them playing, great shape, scored some good goals. And when I spoke to the boys, the Stockport boys, about that game last season, they said, yeah, we were off it a little bit that day, but it was more about Yeovil being on it and having the shape correct and maybe giving up possession a little bit, but countering well. So yeah, we've got good players. There's no doubt about it. We want more. We want a bigger squad, but we've got some good players, and we think that we can definitely, without a shadow of a doubt, compete with most of the teams in the league. And if you don't believe that, you shouldn't be here.
Quite right. No, best of luck for the weekend, Chris. Thank you very much.
Thank you.